Hi, I'm Ben Diskin. I'm the voices of number 1 and number 2 from Codename Kids Next Door, Venom from Spectacular Spider-Man, young Xehanort from Kingdom Hearts, Lorenz and Caspar from Fire Emblem Three Houses, Haida from Agretzko, and a whole bunch more, and you are watching Anime Impulse. Before I do any kind of recording on the drive there, because I'm stuck in traffic, it's LA, I will scream at the top of my lungs. I will do a bunch of weird sounds and stuff like and I'm really glad that nobody next to me can hear me, because it's all just me just screaming and making weird sounds. So I got an Emmy for the voice of Rizzo and Gonzo in Muppet Babies, and I did not expect to win that thing, like, at all. So, like, my speech for that was like this rambling mess of me just going, please, I thank all people who work on show. But somehow it came out a little bit more coherently than that, I guess. But, like, I have it now at home, and it's weird because, like, I don't win anything. So, like, it's like the only thing I have that's like an actual, like, accomplishment. So it looks like plushy, like little figurine, Emmy, another little plushie. I love the Kingdom Hearts franchise. I think what I love the most about it is that I met my wife through the Kingdom Hearts franchise, which is like the greatest thing ever. She's like a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and I played them as a kid too, but like so did she, and that's how we met, was like she found out that I was in the games and like sent me a Facebook message, and I was like, ooh, girl, you cute. And I wrote back to her, and that's how we wound up getting together. So that's my favorite thing about the Kingdom Hearts franchise. But as far as the actual game, which is probably what the question was really about, I would say I really like the gameplay, especially in 2 and in 3, because I love just like pressing X to win. And also, like, then when you when you increase the difficulty, you have like there's a lot more complexity there to it. So I think there's stuff for beginners who just want to like get through the story by hitting X, and then there's people who really want to like learn the fine details of the game, and I like both of those aspects. I didn't realize that somebody who's probably made of wood and is basically kindling could burn me so bad, but he did. So screw you, Woody. You know what? That's what it is. Woody from Toy Story. That's the thing I hate about Kingdom Hearts, that jerk. I think it's great that, like, out of all the characters, you know, the guys who are like, you got a friend in me, it's just like, no, like, wow, dang, burn from like a Disney character. So yeah, getting burned by a Disney character is kind of great. I'm gonna say thank you. Thanks Pixar, thanks Disney, for making Woody and being a jerk to me.
Whatever you're talking about, I don't care. Put Buzz back the way he was, then get lost.
Or else what, toy?
Yeah, I am a toy. And a friend. My guess is no one's ever loved you before.
Listen up! This is something you're going to have to do for yourself! Just tell me what to do and I'll follow your lead, JoJo! Run for your life!
The Diskin family secret technique, as opposed to the Joestar one of running the hell away, is probably the ancient art of putting your foot in your mouth. I come from a long line of people saying something that they really shouldn't and then going, oh my god, I can't believe I said that. So when in doubt, I didn't break anything important. My favorite JoJo opening is definitely the one from the first season. And it just keeps going, ciao! That's my favorite one, just for that one part, especially in the extended version, because that's the one where they really just hold out the word Joe and you're like, oh, this guy's gonna run out of air, or they edited it. I don't know how they did it, but like that one. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite opening, for sure. Oh, so if I had to land a plane like how Joseph Joestar lands a plane, let's see. No, we would all die, just real talk, but it would be funny. Ask Joe Zeta to fly the plane. How about that? He was in the Air Force. He could probably do it. If I had to choose between Caspar's hair or Lorenz's hair, I would say definitely Caspar, which is weird because like he's like this like rough and tough, like beat the heck out of everything that moves guy, and Lorenz is supposed to be this very like classy upper crust dude. But I swear, it's like he got in a fight with a lawnmower. It's like, oof, and like a bowl cut lawnmower combo, 1-2 punch, and absolutely ruined him. Like it's like party up front, military in the back. Lord knows what the heck that hairstyle is. He gets better. It takes him like 5 years, but then he finally starts getting like at least a little bit of a better look. So yeah, Caspar. Oh, I've seen some of the memes of Lorenz, but they're mostly just like him being bald. So I've seen bald Lorenz, and like just him being weird about feet. That's the other one. Lorenz is he's basically weaker, skinnier, punier Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, only not as mean. That was basically how he was described to me, was he just, he does not understand why people don't realize how great he is, as though that is a fact. And it's like, oh no, you're simply mistaken. You see, I'm actually amazing. I know you think I'm weird, but no, I'm actually great. Why don't you love me? And he's just genuinely perplexed by people not realizing the greatness that is Lorenz. And that's what narcissism is, but it's still pretty funny. So I'm okay with that kind of narcissist, I guess, because he's like constantly getting his butt kicked. I auditioned for Agretzko before I knew what it was, and then after I already sent in the audition, I was like, oh man, this is cute, because they have a bunch of little micro shorts, aggressive Retzko shorts in Japan. They're all like about a minute long, and I watched the whole thing, and I was like, oh, this is actually really solid. And I thought we were just dubbing those things. So I was really excited when I got a role on the show and didn't realize it was its own series for Netflix. As we're recording it, I'm going, this is actually really solid. This is really entertaining. Boy, I sure hope it like goes somewhere, because everything I like just gets canceled like the first season. And it blew up, and I'm like, yes, people like the thing that I also like, hooray. So yeah, when people were like, we really like your character, I'm like, awesome, thanks, because that's basically just me talking and also saying things that I would normally say anyway, but I was not expecting it to be as successful as it is. I'm glad it is. We're getting a 3rd season. Don't know when that's gonna air, but soon, sometime, at some point, maybe. Hooray. Pretty much anything Patrick Seitz has ever said to me ever, because like, I swear, like that guy, here's the thing. If you ever read like a transcript of Patrick's directions, they will make no sense whatsoever, but in the moment, they make perfect sense. So for instance, for Agretzko, season 1, I fix Retzko's computer and she says, thanks so much for that, and I'm supposed to go, haha, no problem, and leave. And so at first I did it like, ha, yeah, no problem. And he said, okay, Ben, do it one more time, but this time a little bit less like you're hiding a boner behind a math book. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what that is. I get that. It's that like, I don't want anybody to realize this thing that is embarrassing, but okay. And it was too far, so like pull it back a little bit, gotcha. But if you just heard that out of nowhere, you'd be like, I have no idea what the heck is wrong with this director, he's insane. But Patrick is very, very talented at figuring out just the right thing to say to get just the right little tweak in the performance. So it's gonna be something Patrick said, anything, yeah. If there was any particular sin, actual sin that I fell towards, it would probably be sloth, because I am lazy as when I'm not like forcing myself to go do stuff. Like I will sleep in all day, and it's really terrible, and it's bad for me. I don't like working out, so I'm forcing myself to do that. It hasn't worked out that well. Workout, friends. But yeah, sloth, it's laziness. I would probably be a predator because I like meat too much. I just think it's too delicious. But I would have that horrible, horrible guilt that follows me everywhere. Because like, when you really get right down to it, like, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Beastars or read the manga, it's anthropomorphic animals, but they still have some animal stuff to them, like they eat each other. And I can't think of a more royally screwed up way to like kill a person than like eating them and digesting them. That's just like the most messed up thing ever. So like, I don't think I'd be able to live in that world, or I'd be like ultra vegan or something like that. Like that's what that would be. So whenever I go to conventions, the most requested line that I have from like all the stuff I've done is the one that I kind of can't really do, which is yell Kids Next Door battle stations at the top of my freaking lungs because when we recorded that show, virtually every single line was just full-blown yelled. So instead I just have to give like this really weak, like, kids next door, battle stations. And they're like, no, do it loudly. And I'm like, oh, dang it, all right. Sorry, kids next door, battle stations. Everybody's like, geez, what the hell? So that is my most requested quote at conventions. And if I've yelled codename Kids Next Door battle stations in front of you, I apologize if it scared the living heck out of you. It was a request, that's why I did it, not because I'm insane. I do other things because I'm insane, but not that one, so. I'm a huge Zelda fan, so like basically pick any game, I would probably, with the exception of the unholy Triforce that we don't talk about on Philips CDI, but any of the real Zelda games, yo, I'm down with those. So my favorite is probably, weirdly, even though I'm still terrible at it, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, because it's like such a departure from everything else in the series that I just find it interesting. Yeah, any Zelda game, any traditional RPG, like turn-based stuff, I get it. Here's the thing. Ask me any question about Fire Emblem, I will blow it immediately. And the reason why is because I'm so heinous at strategy RPGs. With this game on like easy mode, no permadeath on, I don't know, I can't get my head around putting people on a grid and making them fight. It just does not compute, and I got like about an hour into the game and I was like, I can't play this, and I gave up. So now when people ask me questions about like Three Houses, they're like, so when this happened, I'm like, oh no, I don't remember that because I would have had to see it come together to really understand the context. Oh no. So yeah, I got nothing but like wrong answers for every Fire Emblem question anybody ever has. Other than like, why is Lorenz such a jerk? And that's it. And I can be like, because he's egotistical. You want me to describe the plot of Fire Emblem Three Houses after I just told? Well, or what I think it is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so.
Your professional interpretation.
Gotcha. So I think I'm gonna get it more or less right. It's 3 different kingdoms, and they all come together in like a school, and they all go to school together, I guess, to kind of learn about each other and kind of try to make things work, but then war were declared, and there's a huge war. Everybody starts going from like, ha ha ha, we're just beating each other with foam swords, to now we're killing each other. And you, as the teacher, as Byleth, you pick one of these 3 groups of people from these different like lands to teach / control / possibly date, I'm not sure. And then you try to like lead your team to victory and murder all these people, but then you play the game again, and then you become friends with the people that you murdered on your first playthrough, and so then you learn about who they are, and you're like, oh, now I feel bad for killing you guys. Oh, now I've got to kill the people that were my friends on the first playthrough, but now they're the enemy, so screw them. And then you murder them, and then you do the whole thing again, and it's basically 3 games in one. And I think that's the plot of Fire Emblem Three Houses. And also, there's tea time. How'd I do? Oh, so okay, thanks to Haida and Agretzko, I got to go to Anthrocon, which is one of the biggest furry conventions in the country, as a guest of honor, which was really cool because the entire con is, how can I put it? It's very educational, is the best way I could put it. It was like a really good way of somebody saying, all right, we know you don't get what this is. Ask all the stupid questions we know you want to ask, and we won't get mad. We'll just tell you what's up. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, all right. So I was told if you dress like a fox, it means you're horny all the time. Is that true? And he's like, no, that's actually a stereotype. It's actually offensive. And I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, I know, you don't know anything. It's fine. And like, I learned all the different reasons why people get into it, because I just thought it was like, I like Disney movies a little too much, and that was it. And it turns out it's like, no, there's some people who are like, my spirit animal is a wolf, and so this is kind of like how I get into that whole thing. Or like I had a dream where I was like a dragon, and I felt like connected to that animal, and it's like, oh, it's a whole thing. And then there are people who are costume designers and storytellers and actors and dancers, and they're just kind of all gathered together based on this one concept of like, animals are really, really neat, and wouldn't it be cool if they could talk? And I'm like, oh, okay. And for me, it was kind of like this revelation of like, oh, I get it. You're all a bunch of artists. That's why furry Twitter is so full of drama, is because everybody's an artist. Yeah, like I'm a performance artist. All of my friends, completely insane. And we get into stupid fights about absolute nonsense, then we feel really bad, then we apologize, then we cry and hug it out. Because I'm like, okay, so this is basically like everybody I know, only people are wearing animal costumes. Gotcha. Okay. This isn't that weird. It's actually, for me, very normal. So, okay. So that was my whole experience, was just learning what it's really like. And somebody who was there is a costume designer, and he made me a Haida fursuit and was like, I just want to give this to you. And I'm like, okay. And I got to wear it for the convention and go and be in the fursuit parade and run around and make a complete idiot out of myself. But it's okay, because I'm wearing a head. Nobody can necessarily technically recognize me unless you know that was me. And it was fun. And I didn't get dehydrated. I didn't pass out. So that means that's a win for me. In terms of advice for acting, I don't usually give advice to current actors because I kind of feel like, well, they're doing their own thing. But if it's somebody who's aspiring and really wants to do this, the number one thing I say is try it before you buy it. And what I mean by that is most of the voice acting work, there's this misconception that like, oh, you just do it from home in your PJs and that's voiceover. Like, no, it's you go to New York, you go to Texas, or you go to LA, and LA is currently the biggest hub of voiceover, so you have to actually move unless you're already in one of those places, which is a lot of money. You have to have a lot of capital already to spend on rent and food and all that stuff. You have to get some decent equipment and all of these things in order to really stand a good chance at being a professional voice actor, and it costs a lot, and it takes its toll on your soul. So the best thing you can do is start off small. There is a Discord server that my friend Kira Buckland runs. It's called the Voice Acting Club. Great place to get started. You can learn all about what kind of microphones to get. You spend as little as you can to get the best possible result and see, do you actually like this? Is this actually something you want to do? Because you know what, you might go, nobody seems to think I'm very good at this. Nobody wants to hire me, and I'm not having fun, and I don't like this. What am I doing with my life? And then once you've had that epiphany, you can go, you know what? All I did was I sunk about $200, possibly $300 into all the equipment, and I hate it. Well, blows, but you know what? I can move on with my life. However, if you move out to Los Angeles and it turns out you're not very good, but you spend like $2,000 on a demo and nobody wants to listen to it, nobody wants to hire you, and you sit there curled in a corner rocking back and forth going, what have I done with my life? That's a big mistake. So just start off small, make sure it's something you like, and if it is, slowly but surely expand. Get slightly better microphones for home use, start getting practice, start auditioning for bigger projects, especially once you move out to areas where you can, and slowly but surely build your resume and build your skill set, and you'll find it's a little bit more fulfilling than just taking the plunge, so to speak, and being way out of your league. That's basically my best advice, I would say. To me, voice acting, it means the world to me, and the reason it means so much to me is when I was a kid, I did a lot of on-camera stuff. And in the world of on-camera, you get pigeonholed really, really, really quickly. Like, we can't all be Johnny Depp, you know, where it's like, we're gonna put you in makeup and you can play any character you wanna play. It's, you're this one type. And so when I was a kid, this was quite a while ago, as I'm older than I look, if you were a nerd, there was nothing cool about that. Like, you were not like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with my friends, we're all gonna go game, like play at home. Like, no, you were the dork. You were the loser if you played video games. It's changed mercifully since then. Now, like athletes play video games. But as a kid, it was a sensitive spot with me, which was like, I don't like being constantly reminded about what a total nerd I am and how lame I am. And that's all I would get cast for. Was like, you're gonna be the nerdy kid. You're the nerdy kid, you're the nerdy kid. And so like, if I was on a soap opera, for instance, which I was the nerdy kid. And I was like, they wouldn't even put glasses on me or anything. They were just like, yeah, look at you, yeah, you're a nerd, haha. And I'm like, you know, this is starting to get really offensive. So like, the only way I'd ever be able to play a different character would be if I just drastically changed my body, my outlook on life, everything, in order to play like the football star. I would need to get massively ripped. As a voice actor, I can play like a teeny tiny little itty bitty pixie with this big hulking monster, and nobody cares what this is. They just care about the voice. So for me, it's about being able to play whatever I want to play, and that to me means the world to me, is that I can be anything I can as long as I'm vocally capable of pulling it off. And so a while ago, I was probably about 16 or 17, I started getting pigeonholed in voiceover, and it actually pissed me off so badly that I was like, I'm gonna dedicate the rest of my life to expanding my vocal range as wide as I possibly can so that this never happens again. And since then, I've gone on to play Venom on Spectacular Spider-Man and Cutemon in Digimon Fusion. I get to do all sorts of different things, and that level of creative freedom, that means the world to me. So that's what voiceover really means to me, is just it's freedom. It's freedom from being told you are this one thing and you need to stay in your lane and that's all you'll ever be. So freedom, that's what voiceover means to me. Hey, thank you so much for watching my interview right here on Anime Impulse. If you want to follow me, I am on Twitter at Benjamin Diskin. I'm also technically on Instagram at Ben Diskin, but I suck at using Instagram, so you're wasting your time following me there and trying to talk to me there. But if you want to talk to me on Twitter, it's totally A-okay, and send me tweets. I will probably respond to them unless they are inappropriate. You know who you are. But seriously though, thank you so much for watching, and I don't know, maybe explain the plot of Fire Emblem Three Houses to me so I can answer questions better. Thanks.
Don't let it drive you nuts, Haida. She could be there by herself. We don't know.
There were 2 glasses on that table. She's definitely there with some guy. This is the worst Christmas Eve ever.